everyone, and welcome to the happiest hour on earth. Today we are celebrating our 1 year anniversary of starting this show.
So wild.
I know.
Happy birthday to our podcast.
Happy birthday, happiest hour on earth. I cannot even believe it. So, I mean, the pressure was on. We're like, what are we going to talk about for our first anniversary? Obviously, we wanted to talk about the podcast, but it's kind of different from what we usually do, which is talking about, specific topics. So we're gonna kind of have a little hodgepodge of an episode, but we really hope that you guys enjoy. We're gonna be recapping a lot of things that we've just loved about starting this podcast, but then we're also going to be talking about, since this is our first year of the podcast, we're gonna be talking about our first experiences Disney style. So we're so excited that you are here, and let's just get this show started.
All right, so here we are celebrating 1 year of the podcast and the page. It's just so nuts that it's been a year. I can't even believe it. For tonight, we actually made a snack and a drink, which is a rare occasion, but it was a big night, so it just had to be done. So we kind of threw it back to one of our very first episodes. I think it was our second one, in which we tried to make corn dogs.
We tried to make them healthy.
Yeah, we tried an air fryer version, and it was just not a good idea. It did not work out well. So we did have a reel for it, and we ended up just getting rid of it and scrapping it. And we will have a new one because this time we decided to do it the traditional way, which worked out much better.
If you're gonna do corn dogs, don't even try to make them.
Don't try to do it healthy.
Just
do
it the real way. There's no point.
You just have to fry them. I'm sorry, but they did turn out much better looking. A little burnt, unfortunately, but they look like corn dogs. They look more accurate.
Yeah, the other things I don't even know what was going on there.
It's horrible. It just fell apart. Like they didn't even stay all together. Cornmeal was not meant to be cooked in an air fryer. It doesn't cooperate at all. So anyways, corn dogs are on the menu for tonight, and another celebratory beverage. If you've ever been to Trader Sam's, you may have seen someone order the AOA. It is the bowl that is technically meant for 4 people. So
we did make it a 2-ish person.
Yeah,
like a
2 to 3 people. So still a decent amount of alcohol in this guy, but it's a really fun drink to order at Trader Sam's if you never have, because every time you do, they bring it out and it's like there's a storm going on in Trader Sam's and they chant AOA, and it's just super fun. So we're what a perfect drink to make to celebrate our anniversary of the show. So,
and the real version does have fire. We were going to light it on fire. There's 2 things. First, we only have this wooden bowl, which fire near wood, probably not the best idea, I would say. And then second, apparently, Everclear, the high proof one, it's illegal in California. I saw online. And then Bacardi 151 is discontinued, so you can't really even get that anymore, which is insane.
So fire did not happen for this drink. We wanted to because we thought it would make it really exciting, but we just kind of stuck some little tiki umbrellas on it instead to make it fun and tropical. So here we go. Should we
I think we should start with the bowl.
I think we need to. I think
this is insane. Okay, let's go for it.
See how we did, guys.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
You did it.
The funny thing is, we wanted to do something a little bit different for our 1 year anniversary. And what's more different than a shared experience that's
bowl
just
of alcohol.
I know. It was so funny making this because, as you can tell, this is a salad bowl. We didn't have enough time to get a tiki bowl.
I don't know how in the heck you find a tiki bowl. I wish I knew.
Not online, right? Online you can.
Yeah, that's true.
But
online you can find anything.
In person, no one's you can't go to Target and
we decided it too last minute, as in a night or 2 ago. And so there just would have been no time to order something like that and have it ready. So salad bowl it is, but maybe we'll recreate this another time and actually have a tiki bowl. I don't know.
Maybe. And we'll set that one on fire.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Or make sure that it's not made of wood, so that can't happen.
Exactly. Okay, should we try these corn dogs? They have been, we did make them a little bit ago, and then we had to make the drink, so hopefully they're
Not
still
exactly
semi-ish warm.
I love ketchup and mustard, so I always just
do
like
the double.
1 to 2.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
like
do the double.
both at the
Let's
same
do it.
time. It's the best way to do it if you have never tried it that way. Wait, you're going before me. What the heck?
Oh, sorry. Oh. Now that actually tastes like a corn dog. Mm-hmm. Way better than the air fryer. Oh my gosh.
I must say, nowhere close to Disneyland, first of all, because those are just the best corn dogs of all time. I don't know why my batter was kind of thin, so the breading around the hot dog is a little thin, unfortunately.
I actually like it though. It's like, it's a little thin, but it's really crispy, which is really good.
Anyways, it did turn out better than the first go around. Okay, so we obviously just enjoyed those corn dogs, as you can see.
Yeah.
They were really good. Although
I might need to eat that last one.
Yeah, you can go for it.
I'll
I'm gonna
save it
stick
till the
with the
end.
one for now. But we cannot wait to get to Disneyland in a few weeks and get Corn Dog Castle because that's our jam.
I
It's
know.
our favorite place for corn dogs.
It is. And I mean, it's going to be so fun going because we have our staples in California Adventure and Disneyland. But now we get Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want
Lots
to
of new
not
stuff.
get what we normally get. So it's just like double the food
No,
because we
We're
just
going to
need
be
to.
gaining even more weight than we normally do after a Disney trip.
You know what? We're going to be walking like 14, 15 miles. So I'm like,
It must
I'm
just
ready.
even out, right?
It evens out.
I
Yeah,
always
that's
tell
part of the-
myself that.
Oh,
at
yeah.
least.
Oh, for sure.
see.
That was so good.
That was good and great job on the Elwha.
Oh, thank you so
So we'll
much.
have reels for both of these coming out on our Instagram if you're interested in seeing how they were made.
Yeah, honestly, this is kind of like the Oa Bowl is kind of the perfect date night. Like, I would remake this with a movie and just be like, let's share this tiki
Yeah.
bowl. Maybe watch like Moana or something else.
As long as you're both like drinking equal parts.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if one of you is drinking too much, you're gonna be getting a lot more of the booze.
a lot more booze, yeah, and that might not be the best thing,
Yeah.
but you know, it's so delicious. I love it.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So should we jump
Ready?
in?
Yeah.
So first we wanted to start with a little bit of a recap. We had like a couple different categories, but first we wanted to start with like our favorite memories from the last year when it comes to the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot first. Go.
Okay. Well, there's a lot, obviously. It's hard to kind of narrow it down, but just, I mean, if we hadn't begun our Instagram page to begin with, which we did first, then we wouldn't have met so many people that we've been able to connect with on that page.
Yeah.
So that over even just the making of the podcast has been so special. We've met so many people. And not only that, but we've gotten to have like so many people as guests on this podcast that we never would have like, you know, reached out to and been able to chat with otherwise. It's been so special to
Yeah.
get to talk to that many people and have them be our guests, you know, on the show.
I know.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's been so many people that we have been fans of even before we even thought to make a podcast and a page, and being able to talk to so many of those. And I don't even want to list them because I'm afraid I'm going to leave someone out. But we've talked to some amazing Disney themed companies. We've talked to some amazing Disney influencers. We also talked to an Imagineer, you know,
Yeah.
from the 80s. And
Expedition Roasters.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Coffee, like just so many things. And we have a lot more coming also, which
Exactly.
I'm so stoked about. It's like, I can't believe who we've already been able to talk to.
I
But
know.
like,
Oh,
at this point, I'm like, dude, who else can we reach out to? Who else can we talk to?
Yeah.
Like,
you know, I was
Endless.
saying that I don't want to list them because I'm afraid of, you know, I would forget someone, but how can we forget these people? I think we should just
I
start
know,
like,
yeah, we should
okay,
just list them
so
off.
for our 10th episode, we had Sandra Gutknecht, who was an Imagineer in the 80s. I think even
was
into the 90s, which
incredible.
was really cool just hearing her stories about these attractions that we loved and just enjoy every single time that we go to the parks. How awesome was that? And then we had Disney Bars blog. I don't know what episode that was, but we got to talk about all the favorite like adulting experiences at the Disney parks, our favorite bars to go to, favorite like adult activities, like just things that you could do without a kid and just kind of like have some fun. Super awesome.
That was a really fun one.
You just
oh my gosh, yeah. And then we had obviously Subtle Dust, which I am repping hardcore tonight. If you hadn't noticed, both my hat and shirt are Subtle Dust. Big fan.
And Tressa is so
she's
sweet.
The
like
best.
The fun thing about it is that we've like had her on our show, but then we'll just hit her up from time to time, and she's just
the most personable, kindest person who like just has the best heart. Like seriously. If you've never talked to her, just reach out because I guarantee she'll answer you and you'll like feel like you're best friends already.
Yeah.
So she's amazing. Subtle Dust is amazing. We got to chat with Expedition Roasters, like I said, some of our favorite coffee. Yeah, we had been following him for long before we even had him on here. So that was amazing to have him on.
Oh, yeah.
We had Disney Cable Magic for our Christmas episode. That was really fun.
I really hope that we could sync up sometime in the park. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah. Like with any of these people, it'd be so fun to get to see any of them in the parks. Oh my gosh, who else?
And then we had Darling of Disney.
Darling of Disney, yeah. One of the last ones we did. That was so much fun. We love her. And, there's probably even more, but we have a lot more in store that we're kind of planning on.
Next week we'll be talking to another Disney themed company.
Yeah.
Gonna be awesome. We cannot wait. This is gonna be great. And then we might have some other ones lined up, but just keep following us to see.
Yeah.
So much fun. Yeah, so those are definitely some of our favorite memories.
Big standout memories.
Another other memories of just like, besides the amazing guests that we've had, some of the topics were really, really fun to dive into. I think one of my favorites was the Disney, like favorite Disney movies of the eras, which was really, really cool.
That was
because
favorite too.
It was just fun, like going back through the different eras of Disney movies and seeing what kind of made those eras. Like, why did they even split them up in eras to begin with? And you could totally tell that there's like a different kind of vibe to each era, and just discussing our favorites. Any like movie ones that we've done were really fun.
I agree. And on that, like when we've done episodes like that were kind of more like history based, just getting to look into those topics more and like learn more about those things than we would have beforehand. Like it's forced us to kind of like find out what really happened that made those eras a thing, and so many other topics, which has just been so cool.
Definitely.
Another,
what like topic wise, what's been some of your favorites?
Gosh,
another one I love, like any that we get to like express our own ideas of like any kind of like armchair imagineering.
Yes, I was gonna say that was
building rides,
favorites.
creating rides.
The Imagineering one that we did was really fun too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how many episodes do we have now? Like 50.
This is gonna be our 43rd, I think.
That's a lot of episodes.
I know.
So, I mean, like, I occasionally scroll through, like, our YouTube or our Spotify to just, like, look at the topics. And there's a lot. So, there's like, no way for me to pick favorites except the ones that you just mentioned are similar for me, I think.
Yeah. We love both Walt Disney World and Disneyland the same, but I love doing...
those like comparison ones, yeah.
Yeah, this or that.
Yeah, kind of.
This or that with...
Like who did it better?
Who did it better? But then we've also done like rides. We've done some other ones. Yeah, those are always super fun.
Yeah, too. That was really fun. I agree. And I feel like it's just opened us both up to much more creativity than we can express on a daily basis. Just getting to like come up with these topics. Like, I mean, we're always trying to think of something new we can talk about on the podcast, and it's like. It never would have happened before. Now it's just like, oh my gosh, what have we like not talked about yet? And we have to dive into these topics. And it just has been so much fun for us to do together, especially. And like starting it in the pandemic. I mean, it was like, not like in the heat of it, but it was definitely in the midst of COVID. It just gave us something to kind of like look forward to every week. And it's still that way now, but just something to kind of like prep for and get excited for. And, you know, just kind of, I don't know, just creating together has been really fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the other thing kind of on that is, since the pandemic was so weird and we weren't going out and talking to people and hanging out with people for a very long time, it's like if we didn't do the podcast, we would be a lot weirder now.
Very antisocial.
Yeah, exactly. It would be like, wait, how do you talk to people again? And yes, we're talking to a camera right now. And yes, whenever we're in public, we're like, wait, how do I function?
Still have to relearn talking to people.
If you guys meet us in the parks one day, you'll understand. You'll be like, those people are very strange. No, just kidding.
Just kidding. We're pretty normal. We're pretty normal, fun, I think.
But yeah, it is like, if we didn't do the podcast, I would feel even weirder. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, we'll talk to people on like DM. Yeah.
To people in the world.
Yeah. And don't think that we're just like hiding in hiding in a shelter. I mean, the other thing also, we had our kid. Yeah, to a degree, we're kind of a little more homebody now.
Just life
with the toddler and the pandemic.
We go out, but
we'll see friends
like
and family, but we won't. Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to just connect with people over this. And so another fun thing is just being able to make like the snacks and the drinks from the park.
Yeah.
Which has been really cool because I mean, like, seriously, if we didn't have this podcast, we wouldn't have been able to like bring a part of Disney into our home and like enjoy all those things. Like I would have just been, I'm a big beer guy. If you're listening and you're like a big craft beer drinker, hit us up. I love my craft. No, she loves her. We both love our craft beers. But we would have probably just done craft beers and wine. We're both wine people too.
Yeah, cocktails were never really like our thing.
Like we loved them, but not at home.
Yeah. Like at home, it was like, just, you know, go easy wine or beer generally. Like it was like more of a special thing to make cocktails. We usually would go out to like cocktail bars if we're going to do that.
Let someone else do the
exactly, because, you know, let the pros do it. But it's been so fun to just branch out and like find new ones that we haven't even tried in the park or make our favorites at home. Yeah. Because if you're a Disney person, you understand like when you're home and not getting to be in the parks all the time, you just need some of that like food or drink magic. And it's been really fun to bring it home with us and share it with you guys with our reels.
And that's what I was going to say. I hope that you guys, I mean, I know that, you know, people watch the reels, but I hope that you guys have been able to try to recreate some of these as well. Like that's kind of one of the main things that we want to do with these like food and drink reels is to kind of make them pretty simple and easy to follow so that you get inspired to also make those as well. Like it's not just that we're putting in the hard work and we're enjoying them. Like it'd be so great if other people were like, and we have had people hit us up and be like, oh my gosh, like I totally made that after watching your reel and like they've loved it. And so if you see something that looks great to you, branch out, do it, grab the ingredients and go. It's been a great time.
It has.
And you get the slice of Disney in your life.
Yeah. And bouncing off of that with like people's responses to our reels and stuff like that. Just honestly, it's kind of like humbling and just like crazy to me anytime like someone tells us that they like love listening to our podcast and we've never met the people. Like it happens, you know, every so often that people will message us or comment that they love our podcast or leave a review or something. I'm like, I don't even know who that is. Like people we don't know just listen to us talk because we're always like, you know, we're not in this to just like gain popularity and like get all the follows and listens. We do it for fun because we love Disney and we want to just connect with people. But just the fact that people get on and listen to us just like chit chat about Disney is like so special to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty astounding. I mean, like as we're looking through listens on our podcast platform and stuff like that, I'm like, is this just my parents or my mom and dad, you know, like, listening multiple times?
How many people that we know are these listens?
Like, and then, we'll hear people, actually shout out to Sierra at Her Magical Life. She's from Alaska. I feel like, I mean, when I saw that one, that was just crazy. I was like, someone in Alaska is listening to our podcast, and she's a great, amazing Disney influencer as well. So definitely follow her magical.life. So fun, but just like
So
the people that
amazing.
reach out to us, and she has, and a couple other people have, and just being like, oh, I like that topic you just talked about, and I'm like, wait.
Like
People
you go
listen to-
through and like look at our topics and
That's
just listen to our
crazy.
show. Like it's so wild to me
It really
that we're
is.
reaching people that like we never ever would meet
I know.
otherwise.
I feel like someone just did an Apple Podcast review recently, and I was like, I actually have no idea who this person is, and that's the sweetest thing ever. It's
Yeah,
like,
because
it's
it
so
was
great.
maybe they follow us on Instagram, maybe not. I don't know, but somehow they found our podcast on
Yeah.
Apple and love it. So it's like I don't know.
It's so sweet.
just-
It's really humbling.
I could go on
very
and on
amazing.
about.
But
this,
yeah, if let's say you listen to our podcast, and I don't even know how you connected with us or what, but just feel free to DM us and just be like, "What's up?" And then let's just chat. And it seriously means so much to us. We love connecting with other fans of Disney, and so yeah, let's
We
start a
do.
conversation. Let's
Start
hang
a
out. It'd be so
conversation.
great.
Let us know if you're gonna be in the park.
Yes.
Because we're gonna be there for 3
April
days in the beginning of
4th
April.
through 6th. I
Yeah,
think.
hit
Yep.
us up if you're gonna be there too, because we'll totally hang.
Yeah.
We'll go on a ride together or get a snack
Oh,
together.
that'd be so fun. That'd be so great.
So that was kind of our recap for the last year. I mean, I truly could go on and on about it because it's just been an amazing experience, and I really can't believe it's been a year.
I know.
mean, it's insane.
It is
But
crazy.
it has been something I know I'm going to look back on when we're older and just be so thankful that we've had this time. Not that that means we're going to be ending it anytime soon, but I just know that it's going to be a special memory for both of us.
Yeah.
It's been really
Seriously.
fun. Thank you guys for being a part of it.
Thank you so much.
But moving on, Chris, you want to lead us into our next little topic here?
Yeah, so I thought this would be kind of fun to just it's kind of like a get to know us and our first Disney experiences, right? As we're concluding our first year ever doing this Disney podcast, I thought it'd be cool to just talk about the experiences and kind of just what those experiences were like and just how amazing and special they all were.
Yeah.
So the first one we're going to talk about is our first ever trip to Disneyland. But some of us were I was too young to remember my first trip. Do you remember your first ever trip or?
Bits and pieces.
Bits and
I
pieces,
was like
okay.
6, I think, when my parents took me for the first time. So the like side topic of this is just going to be like the first time that we fell in love with Disney, like the trip that solidified our love for
Yeah.
Disney. But
Do you want to start?
initially, yeah. So I went when I was pretty little. I don't know. I could be wrong. I think I was about 6, unless there was a trip before that I just don't have any like recollection of or photos of. But I believe the first time I went was when I was about 6, and I was really little, and I just don't have much memory of it. And it was kind of just like I didn't do a lot of the rides because I was scared of them at the time, and it was kind of like a quick day, if I recall. Like like I had an older sister and a younger brother, and it was probably just a little crazy for my parents. So I just don't think that it was like a lasting memory for me.
Plus, you had family and you still have family in SoCal, so it
Yeah.
probably was more of like instead of a
quick,
destination, like
yeah,
a day.
It was
like
a day
trip,
thing,
yeah.
like maybe not even a full day. Like we probably spent like 5 or 6 hours there or something, which is so sad and such a like
is
waste of
very
time. But yeah, so that was my first initial, like all I have really to remember that trip by was that I always had, I wonder if I got it there actually. I had this like jean, like I'm almost going to call it a bucket hat. It wasn't really.
She was like so.
I was
Gen
like
Z.
pre-Gen Z, yeah. When I was 6 years old, I had this hat
This bucket hat.
that, like, it was kind of a bucket hat, but it was also like pinned up in one spot, and it had a huge giant sunflower on it, and it had my name on it and like a Minnie on it. So I think we might have gotten it there. There was a Minnie Mouse
Yeah.
on that thing. I don't know, but I wore that hat everywhere, and I just remember wearing it in Disneyland, and I think Aurora or something was like, "Are you Briar Sunflower?" Because she's like Briar Rose. And so that's like the only thing that I remember from that trip. Because I was like, a princess is talking to me. Like, I was just blown away.
Oh, that's so cute.
So that was
That's
fun.
So sweet.
That's the only memory I really have.
To like actually like collect a memory from that first trip is amazing. I mean, I feel like
I know. I actually can't believe I remember that.
And it was a actual cast member. And let's just give it up for the cast members, because cast members make the experience, right? Like, rides are great, all this stuff. Cast members really provide the magic.
They do. They do. They did then and they do now. That's always going to be the magic of Disney.
Yeah. So what was your first like time that you really fell in love with Disney?
Okay, so I didn't go again until I was about 14, which I don't know why that was the case, because my grandparents were huge Disney fans. Like, they went all the time, like from the Bay Area, California to Southern California. They would go like once a month for a while. Like, they were big fans. That's like a 6-hour trip, unless they flew. Maybe they flew.
I don't even know if pass holders were a thing back then.
Yeah, I don't know if they were. I guess they just somehow made it work financially, but they were big fans. My dad went pretty often. My mom lived down there. Didn't really go all the time, but somehow it just didn't become like a family tradition to go. So I didn't grow up going. But my best friend, who is still my best friend to this day, decided to take me with her family because they're huge, huge fans. And I went when I was about 14, and that was the trip that did it for me for sure. It was like pure magic. You know, it really does take going with the right people, because when I was little, obviously I was little too, but going with my family who were kind of like not really like Disney people, it was just like, okay, whatever. This is just Disneyland, the place everybody always talks about. But going with my friend's family who are like, they make you have a good time. Yeah. Like, it was so magical. And like, I remember watching Fantasmic when I was there on that trip for the first time. Oh my gosh. And I just remember like soaking in that moment and just being like, I'm never going to forget this. And this is my favorite place in the world. Like, it was seriously magical. And I left that trip like on a high. Like, I was literally on like a Disney high. Yeah. And all I could think about was Disney. Like, it sounds like so ridiculous, but it totally just made me fall in love.
We've all been there.
Yeah. It was like some of the best memories ever on that first trip with them. And I think I went again with them another time around Christmas. And that was also amazing. But the first time that I fell in love with Disney was at 14.
Dang, I love that. That's so great.
So good.
Yeah, so my first trip to Disneyland, I think I always thought I was 1, but I feel like I was even younger now that we have our own son, and kind of, you've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
I feel like me in those photos, I was being carried constantly, and I feel like I was probably a little, maybe I was one of those 1-year-olds. But I had like why am I picturing like a weird bonnet on me? I was wearing something weird that like our kid does not wear. And so I was like, was I younger? Because I was like in baby clothes.
It wasn't really like a bonnet. I know what photo you're thinking of. I don't think it was a
weird
bonnet.
Little thing. But anyways, so I was like around 1, maybe a little bit younger because of that.
But your sister was like probably.
Oh, you know what? Yeah,
3?
she was probably about 3. So I was maybe about 1. So that was my first ever trip, and I remember everything from it. No, just kidding. I have no idea.
Locked away in the memory box.
I remember meeting all the characters. It was just insane. I remember pooping in my pants all the time. It was great. No.
Really fun for my parents.
Yes, exactly. Stressing them out the entire trip. It was so amazing. The first time I remember, like the first memory I have, and I think this was the first time I fell in love with Disney, because this is the memory that is locked in my head. I think I was about 5 or 6. And we went every single year, but apparently my memory caps off at like 5 or 6. Yeah. Don't remember anything before that. But I remember going on, this is the most vivid memory, and I don't remember anything else from this trip except for this memory, is me and my sister going on Thunder Mountain and getting off, and then just telling our parents, we're going to go again. Running through the line, because there was no lines back then. Yeah. In March. We would always go in March. Running on, getting on the line, or getting on the ride, riding, and then just doing that a couple of times. And our parents were totally cool. They were just sitting outside of the ride, and me and my sister Danica, we were just like riding it over and over again. And that was so amazing. And I think I must have hit like that 40 inches, right? And I was just running on it over and over again. And that's like the earliest memory at Disneyland. And I remember just as I was running through that queue, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And gosh, every single just stick to you.
Like you remember that moment of feeling like, I'm never gonna forget this.
Yeah. Man, the freedom that there was of just running through that queue. I know we don't have that anymore, and it's so sad. But
so much. I remember it too. Like I remember probably with you even at one point in our relationship, like we were there and it was like near closing and going on Splash Mountain once, and then cast members were like, "You want to go again?" Before we even got off, and we're like, "Yeah, like,
why not?"
Course.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was
sometimes
so
you
different.
like not strike out, but like
the opposite,
or on your lucky strike. Yeah, you're like you go and there's no line whatsoever. We had that with Flight of Passage one time. It said 60 minutes. We literally walked right on. I was like, "This is the best."
Yeah,
thing.
that can happen. It's rare, but sometimes you get really lucky.
Sometimes you just hit those lucky streaks, you know.
Yeah.
But okay, so as we're moving on, we're gonna be talking about our first trip together.
Yeah. There's been a lot since that first one, so it's like almost hard to recall it now.
Oh, I'm going to start because this just kind of sets the whole mood for the...
I think I know what you're going to say.
Okay, so our first trip together. I was getting ready.
How old were we?
Like 16.
I was 16. You were also 16.
I was
close
16.
to 17, I think.
So
just started dating.
First, how many months in was that?
I think we went in April. We started dating Valentine's Day, February. So it was like 2 months.
Yeah, we did stay with my parents.
Yes.
It was a family trip.
Yeah, we were.
So it was an awkward family trip, Disneyland together. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get. I had bangs back in the day. I was a kind of emo kid back then. I did have bangs, but I was like, you know what? I want to get a little nice trim before the trip, right? And I got this little weird. She gave me like this bowl cut. I think I might have mentioned this in another episode, but nice bowl cut right before our trip. And I was so upset. I was like, I was not happy at all. Whenever I was with Emily, I was like, everything's fine. Internally, I was like, why do I look like the Beatles? This is not good. And I think we need
to somehow link this photo. I think we did that last time.
I think we did it last time.
I think it needs to resurface. I think we need to bring it back.
We were so awkward back at 16. I was like,
dude, we have this photo. Probably our first castle photo.
Not good. Don't look at it. It makes you cringe.
It's just so cringy, but it's like really hilarious to look at
it's
now.
We didn't know.
We were like newly dating teenagers, like in Disneyland. It's like obviously you're supposed to like pose together, cute, in front of the castle. And
that's like if someone's taking a photo for you, it's like like my mom or my dad taking a photo. So it's just like extra weird.
Yeah, so it was like be cute, but not like too cute. Don't make it look like you're gonna like be all over each other. And so it was like he had his arm around me on one side, and then like the other arm was like around my torso.
It was like a weird quasi.
And then literally my arms were just like hanging at my sides. Like it was the most awkward photo of all time. Like I didn't know what to do with my hands because he was just like
I was all over in a very prom-y way.
It was pretty bad, and I think we need to let the people see this photo.
If you want to be cringed out.
We probably shared it the last time we discussed this, which I think happened at some point on the podcast.
Yeah, it was really bad.
But I think we should let the people see it again. So maybe we'll grace you with that in the near future, Instagram.
Yeah, it's bad. But other than that,
it was a great trip.
Yeah,
it was a great
trip.
Except my ankles kept hurt. Obviously, everyone's feet always hurt from Disney trips. But for some reason, I think I had like a tweaked out ankle or something. And every step I took was like agony. And we have a picture of me like soaking it in the bathtub by the time we got back to the hotel at night and just being like in misery. So that's really the other main memory I have from that trip.
Yeah.
But
And we
Fun
yeah,
times.
there was some amazing stuff that we got to just do and see, and like I don't know, it was just so special doing our first Disneyland trip together.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, like I have to go back into the memories of my mind. What this was when California Adventure was
The old
version,
one.
Huh? Yep.
Wasn't it? I don't remember when it changed from there because that would have been like 2010.
Gosh, that was 2010. 2012 was the Buena Vista Street, and I think no, yeah, Buena Vista Street and a couple other things got changed, but that was 2012. So we did get to experience
2
the weird
years
sun there.
going to
Cars Land was not open. Cars Land was a part of that 2012.
gosh. Feels
Renovation
so
too.
long ago. I don't
so
even
Cars
remember
Land was
that.
like, I'm trying to remember. I think Cars Land was like nothing. Like,
Yeah,
I think
no, it
that
wasn't there.
yeah,
It was not there. It definitely. I remember
It
going
was just
like while it
parking,
was
right?
happening. Yeah,
Crazy, yeah. And we've been every year since.
we've gone
But, man, the
multiple
years
times.
just
Some years, the years
by.
blur together. Seriously, with Disney trips, especially, like we've had so many of them that it's hard to remember like what happened in what year because
Yeah.
we've gone like every year. I don't know if
So
we've ever
crazy.
missed a year of going, except you know what? Maybe the year that we got married because we were like obviously trying to save
Wait.
money.
The year we got
No, the year
married.
we got engaged, we went twice. Oh, but the year
The
that we
year
got married.
we went.
That's
Yeah,
true.
right after.
Okay,
our
but it was
Hawaiian
like a
honeymoon.
lot. It was like a year span, I think, from the time that we.
Yeah,
Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever.
it was crazy.
It was a long
We've
time.
been, I think, every
The
year.
year that we got engaged, though, I have to say, it was 2015. We went 3 times within like 3 months. We went.
Yeah.
So
that's
we got
crazy.
engaged one week. It was September 11th, which is really weird.
Weird, strange.
Got engaged
Sorry.
that week, and we had already had a trip planned with friends for the following week.
Yeah,
And so we went 2 weeks in a row, and then
so sick.
it was amazing. Yeah, not doing the drive down there. That was like
Not do-
6
yeah.
hours
At least
there and
gas was a
back
little
to
cheaper.
yeah. That was wild. But then we were down there again in December around Christmas time to see all my family, and we're not planning a trip.
That's right.
And then we just decided to go one day with my little brother. That was a horrible decision because we went right in between Christmas and New Year's. Really bad choice.
Still
But
got quite a bit done.
Point is, we went 3 times in a very short span of time, which was amazing. So
Yeah, that was.
I totally rabbit trailed a lot. I did not need to go off.
No,
on
that
all
was
So
amazing.
let's move on to our next topic. So that brings us to our next topic, which is our first time at Disney World. It took a long time for us to get there, which was very sad. And we've only been one time,
Yeah.
but it was an amazing trip.
2018.
2018.
Right.
Yep. We went for 6 days.
6 days.
6 days in the
every day,
park.
Yep.
Yeah, a day for each park and then 2 additional days to do with them
Other
what we
ones, yeah.
wanted. And it was amazing. I think we've talked about it in past episodes, but before that trip, we were kind of the like Disneyland only, like it's always going to be
Disneyland is
better.
supreme,
Like,
yeah.
the Supreme. Yeah, a little bit. Kind of skeptical of like, what is it that's so great about Disney World or whatever. And that
It
trip
blew our
totally
minds.
changed my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, obviously Disneyland's always going to be my favorite because it's the original park and it's the park I fell in love with all those years ago, and I'm always going to love it. But Disney World has a whole magic of its own and so much to it that there is to love.
Yeah. Seriously, shout out to our friend Sean and Patty.
Yep, that was a
If they're listening
great
right
trip.
now, that was the best trip ever.
It was.
And it all depends on like you mentioned with Disneyland, like who you go with really makes or breaks the experience.
Yeah, it made the
That
experience.
was such an incredible, magical trip that was just
It was perfect.
it honestly was perfect. There's nothing that I was like, oh, I wish this was different.
I couldn't have asked for more.
And on this, if you're either a Disney World native, and I know we like to talk about this a lot, right? Like, I'm a Disney World native, I'm a Disneyland native, whatever the case may be. And you might have strong feelings about the other. Oh, I heard Disneyland's so small. Oh, I heard Disney World, Walt didn't even actually, see Disney World, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Don't let that hold you back. Go visit the other Disney park. Go visit other Disney parks outside of the country. Honestly,
just see the magic in all of them, because seriously, you can pick out things that are wrong with one or the other all you want, but
don't let that hold
it's
you
all
back.
Disney. Like, it all has that Disney magic. They're different, but they're amazing for different reasons. And I'll always say that. Like, I totally understand now why people love Disney World so much. And I never would have said that before, because all I knew was Disneyland. And getting to go, especially with people that I love, and experience it all together was such an amazing memory. And I want to go again so bad and experience it again.
Yeah, like, that will be a part, like how Disneyland was a part of my family tradition. We went so many times every year. I would say like maybe not every year, since that's a long way.
Yeah.
Like maybe every 3 years go to Disney World. Sorry.
Yeah.
Make the trek out there. Do a nice long trip. Stay on property.
Year. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, or every other year. Once he's a little bit older, right? Like, our kid is, our son is
almost 2.
Almost 2. Right now, it's like a whole big thing. He's not gonna remember it. Once our kids remember and everything, and we're like, okay, now they could enjoy it as much as we do, then probably like we instate that like every other year thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, yeah, that first trip, I mean, there's nothing more that I could say than it was like amazing. Like, it was so perfect, and staying on property is awesome.
Changes
and yes,
the game.
You're still far from everything, but
yes, that was a weird realization for me getting there. I mean, it didn't detract from my overall experience, but I feel like I did not comprehend going into it, like, how far apart all of the resorts are from the parks. Because I'm just so used to Disneyland and California Adventure, and all the hotels like lining the street. It's all just within walking distance. It's all right there. So going to Disney World, I was like, oh, you like have to drive.
Yeah.
Like, take a bus, or like we ended up Ubering most of the time because the bus lines were just nuts.
So crazy.
And it was so cheap to Uber because it is a short distance, but it was just crazy. Yeah. I didn't totally expect that. But
there's something about staying on property that just is so great, especially Disney World, because you're going to be doing more than, it's not just like 2-3 days, right? Like, Disneyland, you could do 3 days, 5 days, whatever you want. Disney World, you're going to be staying there for a little bit longer. So, like, being a part of that experience, that Disney experience, when you're leaving the parks and getting to your hotel, there's something special about that. And I love that.
And like, shout out to the value resorts, because that's where we stayed the majority of the trip. We stayed at Pop Century, and I seriously loved it. I mean, I thought it was
those renovated rooms.
They were renovated like pretty recently when we got there, and I loved our rooms. I mean, it was maybe a little cramped. The resort was, but the resort was amazing.
Cramped. We did stay with the other couple that we were traveling with, so it was like, for 4 people.
Yeah, it worked out. Like, I mean, we made it work totally fine without any issues. And I loved that resort. We like ate at the restaurant on that property like almost every night. Yeah, like, because we had our dieting packages, and like it was gonna expire before the next day. So I was like, well, let's just go get some food before bed, I guess.
Yeah, like, that's so awesome.
It was such fun experiences.
That, and then we also stayed at Riverside too, which is so amazing. Yeah. But like, whether you go to Value or like one of the upper class ones, the higher end ones, also amazing.
Such great experiences.
So great. Should we jump on to our next one?
Yes, let's move on.
So this is going to be the first time at Disneyland Paris, our first time at a international park. And so we have to preface this because it was during a holiday, I guess. Like, I don't know if it was a French holiday or if it was like more
their
of a
Labor
European,
Day. So people
holiday.
had time off.
and it was really, really, really packed. A lot of people. And we were at the end of our trip. During this trip, we went to what was it? We went to France, Croatia,
Ireland.
It was France, Croatia, Ireland, back to France.
And it was at
Paris,
the end of all that we were
going
to Disneyland. So we were like pretty tired.
We were
stoked to get to Disney still. Like, I mean, we were tired, but it was like, let's get to this Euro Disney. Like, we were so excited.
Yeah, and we were only one day and only in Disneyland Paris, not the Hollywood part of it. And that day we actually arrived into Paris and then had to go to our Airbnb and then find the train to Paris. And then, so there's a lot of things.
In a language we didn't know. That was tough.
Yeah, it was really, really tough. And so we didn't spend as much time as we had wanted to here. And that was because it was a holiday and there was so many people and we were just kind of burnt out from the rest of our trip. We did have some great, I think like one of the best things that we saw at Disneyland Paris was, well, the castle was so beautiful. I really enjoyed their main street. It was like this, it was almost like a fantasy version of Main Street, where it was like kind of like Main Street, but the architecture was a little more like beautiful and whimsical. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But the castle
really short to me, though, just because you're still on the Main Street topic. I think about it and it felt really like short.
It's really a little short, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
But then you get to that beautiful like landscaped hills, which is really cool. I think that's the only like castle that has that landscaped kind of hills where you could just kind of hang out, which is great. But the best thing is underneath the castle, seeing that animatronic dragon, and that was so legit. So cool.
That was the best part for me. My favorite memory of that trip was that dragon.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it was unlike any other Disney experience. That was really, really cool.
That is like one realistic looking dragon. If you haven't seen it, like, I mean, I have video footage of it and I was blown away. Like, I could have sat there and just watched it for so long, and I think we did. It was great. So cool. That was definitely my favorite part about Disneyland Paris.
Yeah. What was another highlight? I mean, another highlight that comes to my mind. I don't know if you wanna.
Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain
was really good there.
Yes.
They had a great Thunder Mountain. The line was really long, as he said. It was just a packed day. That's like probably one of the best. Definitely one of the good memories.
That Thunder Mountain is insane. By the way, like look it up on YouTube. Probably
it goes upside. No, sorry. I was thinking of space. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got confused for a minute.
It's just on like an island, which is really cool because you're just surrounded by water the entire time, which is so awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool the way they had their thunder set up.
It's really fast too. Like it felt very, very fast. But now that you brought up space, so you got a little bit of a headache from it. I think that was probably from all the craziness of travel. We literally flew in from Ireland that day, took a train to.
No, we took a taxi.
Oh, we took a taxi to Paris from there, got to our Airbnb, but then we were doing like underground trains and then a real train and then all that stuff. And so you probably got a headache because of all that. But
so long
Hyperspace Mountain, pretty crazy. Hyperspace Mountain is like Space Mountain mixed with Rock and Roller Coaster. Like there's I think there was corkscrews and loops.
It was pretty
craziness.
Wild. I did not see it coming.
It had a launch sequence at the beginning, kind of like Incredicoaster and Rock and Roller Coaster for all the U.S. natives. But Hyperspace Mountain was insane, and it was the Star Wars theme, and you're doing corkscrews and stuff.
Yeah,
that was, and it's also like what's it called, like steampunky. Like it was almost steampunk mixed with Hyperspace Mountain. Where I mean Star Wars, and the only thing I remember though before we actually rode it was that there's so many fast passes like on the ground, and no one was cleaning them up. Like the organization could use some help in Paris Disney. Let me just say, there was a lot that was just kind of out of control, and nobody like knew what was going on. Like
It was just a mass of people standing by the fast passes and nobody like knew what to do.
It was like spewing out fast passes.
There was just fast passes
like,
all over the ground and everyone was just kind of standing around. And I was like, why are we standing here? Can we like get a fast pass and get ready to go on the ride?
Yeah. And then there's like I remember, so it was like that. And then at the castle, there was like a bucket of popcorn just like spilled right there. And then the food took way too long for like a quick service restaurant.
Yeah, like we were so hungry at one point. We were like waiting to get our food. And seriously, it was like waiting in line for a ride. Like I think it took 45 minutes to get through the line to get food.
And it was just a quick service restaurant.
It was a quick one. And then we got the food, thankfully. But it was, everything just
had
takes
goat cheese on it. And you weren't a goat cheese.
I'm not a big fan. Technically, it was sheep cheese, but they taste the same.
Yikes.
And as soon as I got it, I tasted it and I was like, I'm not even going to eat this. And I just waited 45 minutes for it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Anyways, just lots
and
of
then we were in line for the
less than exciting experiences happened that made me just like not have the best time.
In line for, I think we were in line for literally a chocolate chip cookie. It was like 30 minutes had passed and we were like...
No, it was probably like 10 or 15, but we were already at our wit's end at this point of like waiting in lines for stuff. Yeah. I think we were also waiting for like coffee or something at one point.
Yeah, there's another time and then we were just like...
and it wasn't moving. You know what? The lines just didn't move and we were like, I give up. And we finally left.
Yeah, we left but got an amazing crepe right outside. It was still like a Disney cart, which was amazing. We got that. But you know what? Another preface, because... one of the lines we were waiting for and just gave up in. It was right near Phantom Manor. Phantom Manor was closed during this time, so we did not get to experience it. And that was the thing that I was really excited to see. But it was during this like huge closure renovation for multiple months, and it was actually open for press that day. And I was trying to find a way to get in, couldn't figure it out, But yeah, it was. I heard Phantom Manor is so freaking amazing.
We were really hoping
we were not able to go on that, and that would have probably changed my experience. There's a lot of really cool things over at the Hollywood side as well as the Disney Studios, whatever it's called, and that they're getting some like I believe they're getting some Avengers stuff, which is really cool over there. So they are really working on that park to make it more, because for a while it was owned by like a prince of like Saudi Arabia or something like that. Or
super random.
Some sort of thing. Like most of it was owned by this other guy, not even Disney. Now they're finally getting back the rights to it.
And I feel like they are
doing some stuff.
Yeah, like they're still in process to get it to like Disney standards.
Like peak Disney, yeah.
Yeah, like there's not as much care taken over quickness and cleanliness and
they have a lot to work out, yeah.
Yeah, and just the heart. Like the cast members definitely didn't have the same like heart to them that I'm used to here. So
yeah, and this was 2019.
Yeah.
So maybe by now it's
changed. I don't know, but
you know what? It is they just hit the 30th anniversut of it. They just did a new show. Interested. So I hope that they're getting that way.
Okay, so that kind of wraps up our Paris experience. It was fun, but there was some not so great aspects to it as well.
But hopefully we can go to some more international parks sometime soon. That'd be amazing.
Stuff, for sure. So to end off our first category of this episode, we're going to talk about the first time that we went to Disneyland as parents, which was just a few months ago, like 6 months ago at this point. So we've done a whole like episode on this topic before. If you haven't listened, you can check it out. So we'll kind of make this one quick because we know we're going a little bit long here on this episode. But yeah, we got to go. Our son was just over a year when we took him for the first time. It was September of 2021. And it was an amazing experience. It was definitely very, very different from what we knew from past trips. Because you have a little person to think about the whole time. And it's different than just us two who are always on the same page about what we want to do. And we have the same energy levels and, we always know what we want to do. But it was so, so special getting to take our little boy. And I cannot wait to take him again in a few weeks. Him being older, like there's just so much more that he'll comprehend and enjoy on this next trip.
Yeah. Definitely. And so there's some things to really think about. if you are a Disney couple and let's say you've been going for a couple years and then now you're going to be going with a kid and you're kind of wondering how that experience will change. Now, there's two sides to the coin, right? So there's going to be a big shift when you go with a kid because you're not going to be able to hit everything as much as you wanted to. You're going to have to take things at a slower pace. But the beautiful thing is that you get to see Disneyland through the lens of a child, where a lot of times we as adults are so busy and so focused on trying to get to the next ride in the shortest amount of time, trying to experience this and that and this and that. But the child, when you go with them, is really kind of so impressed by all the little tiny details that Disney has to offer. And sometimes you get to see a lot of things that you hadn't noticed before because they're just amazed at every single thing. And you're like, oh, this is something that Disney wants us to look at, but we've been so focused on doing the rides, doing, trying all the snacks or the shows or whatever it is. And so being able to see it through the lens of a child is honestly so amazing. Another thing that I would recommend is try to go with some people that you know. Our first trip, we went with my sister and her husband for the first day, and it was nice because we got to ride some things together. The next 2 days, we were just by ourselves, and that was very interesting.
A lot of parent passes.
A lot of parent passes, yeah. This trip, we are going with my parents the entire trip, which will be nice because we'll get to go on the rides together. But if you want to dive deeper into this episode, scroll back just a little bit, and we do have an episode called Tips for Going to Disneyland with a Toddler or Baby or something like that. Definitely go check that out, and that's a full episode dedicated to this topic. But with that, I think that pretty much concludes all of our firsts. It was so nice to recap all the amazing experiences that we had while starting this podcast and talking about all the first Disney experiences that we encountered. And we just want to thank you so much for listening, not only to this episode, but all the support that you guys have given us through this past year. It seriously means so much.
It does. It's seriously been amazing. I mean, I'm humbled. Like I said before, it's just amazing to have all the support that we've had and to have just connected with so many of you guys. I'm just so thankful, and I love this podcast, and I'm so thankful we get to do it, and I just can't wait to make even more.
Yeah. And so we have a very exciting episode coming next week and a couple very exciting episodes over the next couple of weeks, and we cannot wait for you to listen. If you have not followed us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, go ahead and do so that you don't miss next week's episode and all the other episodes coming up. If you do not subscribe on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. We have some great stuff coming up. And with that, we thank you guys, and we will see you next week.
We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.